Richard from South Shields on 6. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, mate. You all right, Richard?
Hello. Aye.
Excellent.
Hey, I got cut off last week. Well, I didn't get cut off. I had to put the phone down because of the door knock.
All right,
Remember?
yeah. I
Because
remember
we were speaking to Captain Janeway, weren't we?
Right, we were, probably.
Aye. She was off the Star Trek, like.
Aye. Bit like you. What you got for us tonight, Richard? Come on.
Well,
give us something good. Give us something beefy.
Well, I was thinking about all these stuff, like.
What else stuff?
Do you know this guy that's just been on?
Which guy?
About the relationships and that.
Right.
Having sex with blokes and whatever, and being gay or whatever. I don't actually categorise stuff as people being gay. If they're in a relationship, it's just love, isn't it?
Well, it depends how you look at it, really. I mean, because, like I say, I'm not one for labels. I think that, so I can't see what you say. In that, in that sense of the word, it's a shit. But in fairness, gay people are called gay people because, two women who
are happy than the miserable people that are in relationships that are straight.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because gay is kind of like an abbreviation of the word happy. So it's almost like saying that to be gay is to be happy. So that's that's a good thing. The one thing that really winds me up is when you get too many people in the same room who kind of think that the norm is to be heterosexual, and some people think that way. But who's to say that that's the case?
Well, what I say is, for God's sake, it's 2006. So what?
Well, this is it.
Life's too short, isn't it?
God created Adam and Eve, but he also created Adam and Steve as well, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? So therefore, each to their own. And to be perfectly honest with you, the amount of underage pregnancies that we've got these days, it's you get these people, you get these weird people who turn around and say, gay homosexuality is keeping the population down, and it's not right for two men or two women to go off with each other. It's like, stuff off, you daft git kind of thing. You've got so many. Honestly, these days, right? This is what you've got these days. Let me put it into perspective, right?
Hi, my name's Sophie. I'm having my third baby now. I've got my 14th birthday as well, so she's due on my 14th birthday, and honestly, she's so lovely. And her auntie's coming along as well. She turned 16 the same day, and my great grandma. This is my new baby, Trisha Dean. She's called Trisha Dean, and she'll be 2 months soon. And our great grandma has her 18th birthday on the same day as well. So it's all very exciting,
This is what you've got these days. You've got all these underage pregnancies and stuff like that, and girls just going out getting babbied up. So the way that I look at it is,
what would you call that, like?
If people are gay, right? If people, there's so many people these days who have babies left, right, and centre and don't think of the consequences, don't actually think about, what it's going to do to their life, and they just go out and it's like, well, yeah, I'm just going to have the kid, whatever,
Why not?
And it's like, it doesn't matter if the population is never going to be kept down just because of gay and lesbian people, because there's more people in the world than there's ever been now.
Well, just going back to that, right?
People don't think about, family planning and stuff like that. People don't think about the consequences of having children. People have children at such a young age, and they don't actually think about it. And then they have the kids stupid ages. You know what I mean? 14 years of age, kids. But it's ridiculous. You're still a kid at 14. How can you have a child, for God's sake?
But just put it in the context, right? You didn't have to have sex to have a kid.
Well, no, you don't.
Or a baby.
Yeah, you don't.
Because you didn't have to, you know what I mean? Because you can have, all of these pregnancies where it's like test tubes and that.
Yeah, but in fairness, if you have a test tube baby, this is the thing. If you do all that, right, artificial insemination, you go.
No, they can make babies in a test tube laboratory. No, you didn't even have to have the woman name her.
Yeah, but in fairness, a 14-year-old girl is not going to go into a surgery of sorts and say, I'm probably more than capable of having my own children, but still, I want a test tube baby. That's not going to happen.
Wait, right? What about all of this stuff? Do you know, like this guy on the telly, right? I'll tell you his name, Charlie Sheen, right?
Right.
He goes and has make love to a porn film or a wank mag or something, right?
Right.
And he puts it into a little thing, right? A container to freeze it up. And so all of these children are going to look like Charlie Sheen if they have test tubes, right?
Nice.
Babies and that, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's just the way life goes. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
it makes no difference if it was a woman doing the same thing. A woman's going to have all of this sex. It's all just DNA. It's got nothing to do with all of this other stuff of being gay or being bisexual or whatever, is it?
Right.
It's greedy. But how is it greedy? But like Adam and Eve, right? We got back to right at the beginning of time.
Right.
You turned around and said that, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
Adam and Eve's at the beginning of time, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, just think about it. All of them things right down the line. Scientists, someone like God, created who? Adam. From what? From nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, are we? It's the same thing as what we've got now. But I think I'm God, because when I go and think about it, and I go, right, doing all of this stuff.
You can't say that you're God.
Well, I've made loads of kids, me.
All right, fair
enough. Even, because I went down there, I was a sperm donor for a while.
Did you use the left or the right hand for this, Richard?
No, well, the sperm doesn't work now for making kids.
Right.
Because it hasn't got enough enzymes and that in it, right?
Right. Your sperm?
To the point in which, well, I can't actually have children now.
All right, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because there isn't enough stuff for to make a baby. Like so.
Nothing, I'm joking. How old are you now? Richard, how old are you now, mate?
33.
Are you really?
Aye.
So, you can't have children now. Have you got children? Have you got children? Have you got children?
Well, I've got two that I know of, but I'm not with the people.
Right.
Yeah. So
you're a Jack the Lad, aren't you, Richard? That's what you are.
No, well, I'm a bachelor. Do you know what I mean?
But you're a Jack the Lad. You are a Jack the Lad. I bet you are.
But I mean,
bet you are right, go anyway.
I've been down to the sperm bank and all that. Aye, and I've done all the stuff.
You've donated your sperm?
Well, aye.
All right, so
I've donated loads of stuff that I've got, so like blood, sperm, and all of that stuff, right?
Well, good on you, mate, for the blood.
Well, aye. Well, if you know what I mean, just for future reference, if I want to have a kid, it's going to be mine, isn't it? If that sperm's frozen, do you know what I mean?
Can you just imagine, though, Richard, right?
What?
Some woman goes to the sperm bank and she says, right, this is what I'm looking for. And, a little kind of, tube comes out and it's got your sperm in it. And then, 20 years down the line, the kid grows up and stuff like that, and she turns around and she goes, you know what, I really would like to know who the father was. And then she meets you. Completely off the wall, Richard. Just gonna go,
exactly.
What? No, I'm going to push him back up.
But what about all the one-night stands that I've had, and all of the one-night stands that people have had?
Well, what about
what's
them?
going on there.
What about them? What about yours? What about your one-night stands?
Well, I'm 33, but I know of two children that I've got. Like, that live close to me, because I know who the women are.
So you never used a condom, Richard?
Well, I've used condoms, but not all the time.
Right. So on one-night stands, you've not used condoms?
No.
Right, what about sexually transmitted diseases, though, Richard?
I haven't got nothing. That's the good thing.
Well, then you've been very lucky. You've been very lucky because...
I know.
Because how much would you cack yourself, if that wasn't the case?
Oh, well, the scientist bloke that does this thing for when I go to the sperm bank, he turned around and he says that... Well, I've done it right, like done me bits and pieces and that, and he turned around and says, well, we've got this and we've collected it, but the DNA and all of the stuff that for to make a baby, you've got to have like so many eggs to the point in which it's for the sperm to work. Do you know what I mean? And he turned around and he says that, well, yours are all right, but you haven't got enough and they're not strong enough.
Right.
Like at the time, because I had done too much. Do you know what I mean? So he tested it, like, in the DNA and all of that stuff. But, like, there's loads of things that you can do.
This is Alan Wilson's Night Owls we're talking to, Richard. Sorry, Richard.
Aye, so there's loads of things that you can do to make it better. Like, women can do it, right? Now, because of all of this stuff with the American government, they've stopped some things because of stem cell research.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And they says that most of these things like test tube babies and that, right, are actually just like done. But if you think about it, you can. I feel like I'm perfect. I'm exact weight what I should be, height and build and everything. And I'm really alright, you know what I mean? But I'm not like that Charlie Sheen, because he's like, they would just make something like a soldier out of my spin.
He's famous.
I was in America.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing. No, we're saying he's a movie star, isn't he?
I sort of.
You should be a movie star, Richard, though. Man with a supersonic sperm.
Well, I feel like Superman, honest to God, like.
You should do. Emma just wants to comment on something. Just pull your microphone down there, darling.
I'll just pop my headphones on so I can hear you. I'm just going to have a little natter with you, Richard.
Hello.
Richard, I don't understand. So you've got at least 2 children. Yeah. And yet you can't produce the right kind of sperm. Not strong enough sperm to make children now.
No, well, when my sperm was alright, it was 100%. So I made babies that were alright. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And that was like alright, because in the test tube theory, right, in the 67s and 68s and 69s of the years 1960 and 70 and 71, 2 and 3, right? All of this stuff like test tube babies were about, because I'm a test tube baby. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And basically, all of this stuff that I've done, they started to have
what do you mean, all of this stuff that you've done? What stuff that you've done?
Why, basically, when I do search things like for the make, mind you, I've got to go and find.
Richard, hang on. Finish a sentence, darling. Finish a sentence.
Well, I've got to go and find a good donor as well, you know. So it could just be a mistake.
What do you mean you've got to find a good donor?
Well, if like you've got a list, right, of people that you want to have a baby with,
right?
You've got to make a baby, right?
So you're trying to make a baby?
No. If you make a baby out of your sperm and you've got a donor, like an egg, you've got to go and pick one, and it's got to be exactly so the baby looks all right. You know what I mean?
So how do you know that?
Well, that's what I mean. It might not have just been my fault.
Richard, what might not have been your fault?
Well, my sperm not being like 100% compatible with the person that I was getting the egg for to have the baby. Like me, because I produced my sperm.
Yeah.
Then the egg was photo-sized, right, to the point in which all of the injection of my sperm was into the egg.
Stuff. Can you hear my heart?
Right. Then it wasn't 100% successful. So my sperm wasn't working. And the people that were the donors, in the fact that the egg...
Well, you were the donor because they were wanting the children, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, so you were the donor there. They weren't.
But it wasn't working, right? So, like, there was 3 people that had stuff like that, and they had miscarriages, right? And it was a problem, so I didn't do it anymore. Right?
Because you wouldn't be allowed to, would you?
Well, they said that it was how would you put it? Disrespectful to the point in which I thought I was going to be all right. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Because I was just being a donor. That's all I was doing, basically.
Yeah, but if your sperm isn't correct, if your sperm isn't all there, all the bits that need to be there, if that's not all there, then they're not going to continue to let you be a donor, are they? Because your sperm doesn't work.
There's been loads of successful stuff since then, though. Do you know what I mean?
So how do you know this? Do you know when your sperm is made into a baby, as it were?
Well, the urologist doctor, she turned around and she said that there's 2 reasons why it could have been just something wrong with the person that was wanting to be inseminated. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wasn't aware that when you donate sperm, I wasn't aware that then they kept your details and let you know when your sperm's being used for these children, for poor women who can't have children and end up with your sperm. You know? I didn't realise that it was followed through and obviously you were kept in contact. Richard? Oh, that's a shame. It looks like we've lost him.
Hey, it's weird, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Millions and millions and millions and millions.
As soon as you start questioning,
I know.
Richard disappears.
He does. Millions and millions and millions of sperm, and he was the fastest. It's strange, isn't
millions and millions and millions of sperm, and you end up with his. I mean, that's just unlucky, if you ask me. It's just plain unlucky.
Hey, well, do you know what? I had to do that. Richard, I'm sure he's a lovely guy and stuff like that, but I knew that you wanted to speak to him, so I had to just do that.
I couldn't resist. If people don't remember, Richard and I had a little bit of a spat quite a while ago now. Is when I was quite heavily pregnant. We had a little bit of a spat, did Richard and I, and I just like to question him because he really hasn't a clue what he's talking about.
Fabulous.
Anyway.